Hi everyone. So I decided to start a new little series of videos that I'm kind of entitling Weird Stories from the Old Testament. So the Bible is full of all these stories that, they're not really worth a sermon, but they exist and they give us all these questions and they're kind of fun to talk about too. So today I wanted to talk about Melchizedek. He's mentioned in the story of Abram, and so you can see in this picture here, we have Abraham, and this is the character Melchizedek. At this point in the story, so Abram, the father of the country of Israel, the nation, he's been called by God. He's moved from Iraq, basically to Palestine, and then is moving around, trying to figure stuff out, and he ends up saving his nephew Lot from these kings, and there's this giant battle, and he wins. And then I'm going to read the Bible story here. This is from Genesis 14, and it starts on verse 17. After Abram returned from defeating Kedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Sheba, that is the king's valley. While Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, he was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom came to Abraham, Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have raised my hand to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and have taken an oath that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or a thong of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, I made Abram rich. And so, it's, okay, that's it. That's the story. And we have now this huge mystery going on about Melchizedek. He's not involved in the battle at all. That was mentioned there. Abram's fighting these four kings and wins, and you can kind of see his army, a victorious army marching around. But we have Melchizedek. He is the king of Salem. Salem is actually Jerusalem. So he is the king of Jerusalem, which happens to be the holy city of God, Israel, where the temple will be, which is still Jerusalem today. He's the king of that. He's also the high priest. So he's the king and high priest of Jerusalem. So king and high priest is what we would now call Jesus. And so we get this figure Melchizedek, who may be alluding to Jesus. Is he Jesus? It's one of these questions that, did Jesus show up in the Old Testament? Well, maybe. So we have the king and high priest of Jerusalem coming out to meet Abram. He's praising the same God, God of Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And then tithing shows up. So Abram, in response to receiving this blessing from Melchizedek, gives him a tenth of everything he has. And this is the first time where it's like, what? Tithing? Why is this showing up in the middle of nowhere? It's never said he has to do it. He just does it. And then bread and wine. That's communion right there. Jesus offers bread and wine. Melchizedek offers bread and wine. What's going on here? And so we are just left with this huge mystery, because you know what? It's never mentioned again. Abram doesn't stay with Melchizedek, though that would make sense, right? Since they're on the same side, they're called by the same God, why wouldn't they? There's just this huge, mystery around, who is this guy? And I just love it. It's really one of my favorite, just little one-offs. Wow, what's going on? And it's completely unfulfilling, but it leaves your mind open to moving in new directions and trying to figure out, what does this mean? It's a story from the Bible, but it has so much meaning in there, so much to think about. And so I'm going to show you a couple more pictures here, because people have been wondering about this for thousands of years. So this is obviously tile mosaic from I think it's Roman or Byzantine. And then we have a little bit, oh wow, look how nice this guy looks. That's Melchizedek again, giving the bread and wine to Abraham, who's just won the battle. Renaissance right there. And then I think I love this one the most. And that's Abraham. There's Melchizedek. But Abram, what's going on? You God called me to be the father of a nation, and I'm supposed to be the guy, but you already exist. You're a king of a nation. You're the high priest of God. What am I doing? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's reading too much into it, but I just think it's a really fun story. So Google it, and again, that's Genesis 14, 17 through, well, through the end of the chapter there. But yeah, it's a fun thing to try to read and just speculate on it. But it's also something like, how is God working in our life? God's working in mysterious ways. God shows up when God is least expected. And that's something we can hold on to right now for sure. So have a wonderful day. Peace be with you. And dive into the Bible. There's a lot there to keep your mind going. Bye.